away we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
2014.
There you go. And Bruce McGowan.
Is it really 2014?
Unbelievable.
It is, all right.
Didn't you think we'd live like the Jetsons by now?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, where's my car that flies through the air?
Yeah, you hit a little button, it turns into a briefcase, you walk around with it.
And where's Astro to go, row?
Spacely, space rockets,
Yeah, exactly.
Astro.
Okay,
Beep up or pop up, and that means I love you.
Mhm.
That song
oh, that's right.
from the Jetsons? Yeah.
Okay, we have on the phone, long distance here in the cold weather, Dr. Nick Pappas, who's going to discuss with us the dark side of sports.
Nick is back in, were you, Michigan, Nick?
Yes, I am.
What's the temperature back there?
Nice 0 degrees.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
The Arctic vortex has gotten them.
Oh, you should be out here in San Francisco Bay Area, 62 degrees.
I'm looking outside right now, and it's nice and sunny
Oh,
out
it's
here.
beautiful. I just got out of the ocean with surfing. It was great.
Well, you know, Bruce, somebody got to live there.
There you
You
go.
know?
Yeah, that's right.
That's okay. Hey, Nick is probably doing a lot of cross-country skiing back there. That's not bad.
Yeah. So, hey, Nick, I had a Dr. Pappas. How did you get involved with this whole idea about the dark side of sports?
Where did the idea come to
Yeah.
You know, during my career as a collegiate professional athlete and coach, you come in contact with different things. You see things, you know things, and things that are soiling the athlete culture. So it kind of makes you aware that, you know, some of the stuff that's going on is not always illegal, not always aggressive in nature, but, you know, soiling the athlete culture, victimizing others. And myself as well as others, you know, you come to the realization that, hey, this isn't good. This stuff needs to be exposed. People need to know about this stuff in an effort to, you know, stop this because it's rampant in certain cultures.
And you're talking specifically about things like the Joe Paterno situation in
Jerry Sandusky.
I should say.
Which actually you were playing in at Penn State, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I was an athlete that was one of 2 universities I played my college hockey at, and then I taught hockey schools for 25 years at Penn State after the fact. So I had contact with Jerry Sandusky and his group, the Second Mile. So I was well aware of that situation as it was going down and following it very closely because of the ties I had with the university. And when we're talking about the deviancy I reported in the book, The Dark Side of Sports, that I wrote, you know, we're talking not only about coaches targeting young athletes, but the athletes themselves targeting each other as well as females. So it's a host of different sexually deviant / aggressive behaviors that are coming through when we're talking about these deviant acts.
Does this have anything to do with power? And I mean, people that put themselves in relations in position of that kind of power over individuals, maybe imposing their will.
You know, it does. That's an aspect of it. And when you're looking at underlying causes of this pertaining to the athlete culture, you can't just say, "Oh, here it is. This one cause. We'll take care of this. We're good to go." It's multi-dimensional influences that are coming into play. So you got things like athlete privilege, this notion, this idea that, hey, I'm the star, you know who I am, you know, I make the rules. And when athletes are treated with this sense of entitlement, coaches as well, there's often an absence of deterrence or a lack of consequences, which gives these behaviors a green light to continue. You got a lot of masculinity displays going on, so guys are not only trying to prove themselves on the field, but it turns into sexual conquest in the locker room, with the locker room talk, and guys trying to one-up themselves. You know, you got heavy alcohol consumption here going on, where it's not just a 6-pack, and guys are drinking 10 to 15 drinks plus, and when you're that intoxicated, anything goes. In addition to the peer pressure that guys are, you know, competing against each other off the field for how many hookups can we have here. So there's a number of different factors coming into play with this stuff, in addition to the sexually available females that are following these teams in rampant fashion as well.
You know, we haven't seen it just in the athletic world. We've seen it in the classroom. Student-teacher relationships just taking on a life of its own.
It's been going on for corporate, in corporate and forever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, also, Nick, you had talked also about that they target each other. But what did you mean by that?
You know, when we're talking about, and this is the first chapter of my book, basically, it's a lot of homoerotic behaviors. It starts out with things like hazing. About 80% of the guys I interviewed knew about hazing, but 45% knew about the sexualized hazing that went on. Things like tying people up naked in public places, genital shaving, all kinds of different out of control behaviors that happen. And when we're talking about things that go on within the last year, even, I came across from June 2012 to June 2013, over 40 high school boys have been sexually assaulted by teammates. And so we're talking about sodomizing with foreign objects. And this happened in over 12 alleged cases, which, I mean, compared to 10 years ago, there were 3 incidences. Now you got 12 going on between this time frame, and it's increasing in frequency, it's increasing in the brutality of the involvement, and the fact that some of these situations have involved cover-up from coaches, administrators who don't want this information to get out. It's very, very alarming. And, I found this stuff rampant at the college and pro level, but the fact that, when we have over 40 high school kids in the past year being victimized in this respect, it's extremely alarming, and something needs to be done.
I have a question. How did a guy like Jerry Sandusky do what he did for so long, and so many people allegedly knew about it, but nobody did anything? And Paterno, of all people, who ran such a clean ship, was it just with him, he had such a deep relationship and a friendship with this guy that he just kind of couldn't handle dealing with his deviancy and just sort of overlooked it? Or what happened there? Because you were close to this situation. Obviously, we've read a lot about it, but I just am still absolutely astounded that this guy was able to do this for years.
Well, that's a great question. And, the fact that you see some of the studies where male and female victims, as many as 80% have said, I tried to get help and nobody would believe me, nobody would help me. This is alarming because then the offenders have accomplices. And it's the kind of turning the other head or not wanting to address certain things because it's going to tarnish your program or it's going to raise speculation as, when did you know about this? And so when this is allowed to go on as long as it has, there were a lot of people not following their gut instincts, trying to evaluate situations instead of just reporting. Reporting was needed. It was not happening. And, the fact that when boys are targeted, you're talking about 150 victims oftentimes before these perpetrators get caught. So there's a stigma with boys that they don't want to reveal that they've been molested because this stigma of homosexuality. And so the majority of sexual offenders when it comes to boys, they appear to be heterosexual. They're married, they have kids, they have an active sex life. They're middle-class people. They're appearing to be heterosexual, yet they're molesting boys at an alarming rate, up to 400, 500, 600 in a lifetime. But about 150 before they get stopped is about the average.
I can imagine being this male athlete, and you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to have a situation where you get the coach fired and everybody kind of looks at you, and even if you're the victim, sort of this, well, wait a minute, you just got rid of our coach because of it. You know what I mean? And I understand it's not right. I'm just saying that I can sort of imagine internally like what it would be like to be that athlete. And that's going to be really hard to just come forward.
In the Graham James situation where the NHL players came forward, Sheldon Kennedy, Theo Fleury, where they were molested by their coach, Graham James. This is a very charismatic guy who was a big-time coach, winning championship after championship. Yeah. And, there was constant talk before these allegations ever came out about this situation. So that was kind of the joke of the league in the Western League in Canada, where the juniors were the stepping stones for the pro leagues. That was kind of the long-standing joke. I heard one person say, I heard these rumors for years as a media person with one of the teams, but nobody ever, followed up on it and took it seriously. And then this comes out, and people are like, hey, we've known about these rumors.
Hey, Nick.
Why didn't anybody do it?
Nick, we're going to cut to a commercial break really quickly here. Stay with us. We're in the studio on the phone with Dr. Nick Pappas, who's discussing his book about sexual deviancy in sports called The Dark Side of Sports. Here's our first trivia question, and again, the theme is baseball teams in the movies. In the movie Little Big League, which Major League Baseball team was featured? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. In the movie Little Big League, which Major League Baseball team was featured? 888-660-4495. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
I never even heard of Little Big League.
It's actually it's a good movie.
Is it? Okay.
It
How
is.
long ago did it come out?
About maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a kids movie,
Oh, okay.
But-
kind of like
but-
Angels in the Outfield.
like that.
You know,
but it's a little bit more on the
Teen
serious
Food
side.
feature, right? The old
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
Angels in the Outfield.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, here's a good. Remember the one with Wesley Snipes and Robert De Niro, The Fan?
I saw
yeah,
that.
I like that movie.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. You know, remember Wesley Snipes was playing for the Giants?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, they didn't play at Candlestick and they didn't play at Pac Bell. They played some other
Yeah,
ballpark.
of course.
You know.
That's Robert De Niro. It's like a Cape Fear type situation. Yeah.
I just saw American Hustle. He had a cameo role in that. He was nasty. Great actor.
Yeah.
Hey Doc, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Hey, I'm curious, and we might talk about this. Are there instances where women athletes are sexually attacking other women, or perhaps
That's
even
good.
going after men? Does that kind of stuff happen too, or?
I've heard stuff about.
I came across a female Division I golfer who said they had groupies following their team, but and I coached the women's club team during my doctorate degree, but there was nothing at the level of what I'm talking about with the guys. So I didn't do that research per se, but ask me some questions about the types of deviancy the guys are targeting females, and you'll get your eyebrows raised.
Okay.
That
We'll
sounds
let Bruce ask it.
So the types of deviancy you're talking about,
Yeah,
right?
what was most alarming in my research?
Okay.
Okay, if I ask you about the Bernie Fine charges being dropped for lack of evidence.
With the Syracuse situation.
Right.
That's kind of distant now.
Jameson.
That was a hard one to put a handle on. Why that? There was he said, she said type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say too much about that.
I'd be more interested in talking about Jameis Winston. With this because it's just coming out.
Oh, the rape. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, why did it take so long to come to the surface?
Okay, now who are we talking about here?
Well, Jameis.
The Heisman Trophy winner. He just won for
won the
Florida
game
State
yesterday,
last night. The quarterback.
Okay, right.
Yeah, he had rape charges brought up against him, but it took her forever
Right.
to come forward. And then when they dug deeper, there were like 2 samples in her underwear from 2 different dudes, and there were
Probably
holes
she
that
was
were
just embarrassed by the
holes
whole
that were
thing.
punched in her
She was
her
probably-
allegations.
Poor thing was probably drunk and didn't even know who did it.
Now he says it was consensual.
Yeah. Oh, he
Yeah.
says he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This reminds me of the Duke lacrosse thing.
Oh
Remember
yeah.
that?
And remember that girl the whole thing was made up, right?
Yeah, when she
That was
faced
made
same.
up.
Yeah.
Those poor guys.
I know you just leave it
stigmatized.
through it. Yeah. So it'd be kind of interesting to talk about that kind of stuff. Okay, ready? Here we go. Excuse me. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Hello, America.
Bruce McGowan.
Hello there.
We cut to the first commercial break. We asked this trivia question. In the movie Little Big League, and again, the theme is baseball teams in the movies. In the movie Little Big League, which Major League Baseball team was featured?
Got
Anybody know
no
that?
clue.
I'm gonna go. Was it the Minnesota Twins?
Yes, it was.
Very
It's the
good.
I just
very
remember
good.
a movie like that, and
Yeah.
the Twins were.
The
Pulled it out of his
Minnesota
hat, too.
Twins. Very good.
Very impressive.
Okay, we're on the phone here with Dr. Nicholas.
I still got it.
Yeah, Dr. Nick Pappas.
You never lost it, Vernon. You never lost it.
Who is? We're talking about the dark side of sports, and Bruce wants to come right in with a great question here.
Well, I just want to know what kind of. You mentioned the different levels of sexual deviancy that would surprise us in athletes. Can you talk a little bit about that specifically? Because there are so many different types of behavior within that area of deviancy. What can you get a little more specific about that?
Sure. When we're talking about deviancy, first of all, we're talking about the more squalid, perverted type of stuff that are not always illegal. Definitely they soil the athlete culture, and they act as stepping stones to illegal behaviors that include sexual aggression and sexual assault. So when we're talking about some of the more surprising deviant acts that I come across, and the big message in all of this that's rampant at the college and pro level is everything I found at the college and pro level begins at the high school level. So there's a huge message there for parents right off the bat. But one of the things is the different types of competitions and contests that athletes will have to have sex with women. 75% of guys knew about this, a third of them participated. So we're talking about how many females we can hook up within a 24-hour period, a week, a semester, a season. Targeting different physical characteristics of females. They can be blondes one week, brunettes another week, and they can become very cruel competitions as well when you're targeting some of the heavier set females. And we're talking about guys getting involved with elaborate point systems, spreadsheets, charts, all kinds of rules, and
Jeez,
very alarming as far as what goes on with this. You'll have competitions where the wrestlers will be competing against the swimmers and divers. So it's very alarming with the types of competitions guys will have to compete that sexual.
And do the coaches, how knowledgeable do you think the coaches are on these the competitions?
You know, when it comes to this behavior, there are coaches that know absolutely everything that's going on within their team, and then there's coaches that know absolutely nothing. It's like they're putting their head in the sand. They can actually then say, I don't know what's going on, and look the other way to these types of behaviors, which are rampant. In addition to the competitions, another very disturbing behavior is the voyeurism, where guys will actually set up a situation where a teammate's going to bring back a female to the room, and the guys are already staked out in the room to watch the situation. It doesn't just stop at the watching, because guys are going to videotape these situations, and if it's dark enough, intoxicated female involved, guys are going to try to switch up with their teammates, so it easily crosses the line from a voyeuristic situation to a group sexual assault in many cases. And guys are talking about, hey, 1 out of 2 times guys are trying to switch up on these situations, which is extremely disturbing. And about 75% of my guys I talked to knew about this stuff going on during their career, and a third had personal experiences as well.
Doesn't anybody talk about the communicable diseases that, you know, I mean, you know, forget the competition for just a minute, you know, hooking up with that many people, just, it's kind of nasty stuff.
You know, that's something that obviously is a concern health-wise, but our athletes who are intoxicated, concerned about this at the time, so that's on an individual basis, and we can say for certainty a lot of them are not.
Oh, I want to bring up the Jameis Winston situation where, you know, the guy wins the Heisman Trophy, and then suddenly, you know, actually before he won the Heisman Trophy, because he was doing so well, suddenly an allegation comes out that he raped some woman, you know, roughly a year ago, I believe it was, and the question comes up, gee, why is this brought up now? And he did admit having sex with her, but he said it was consensual. What goes on there? You know, there's obviously the theory that, you know, here's someone who's just trying to be a gold digger at some level. You know, do you ever talk about that side of the darkness of sports?
Yes, I do. And, you know, when it comes to these kind of situations, when it's a high-profile athlete, you know, people are hiring high-profile lawyers for these people. And they know how to delay court cases from coming to trial. Witnesses are harder to find when these delays come. So there's all kinds of tactics that criminal defense lawyers will use to lessen the possibility of these things happening. And, you know, as to whether they happened in this situation, you know, I don't know personally, but these are tactics that have been used in the past, and it wouldn't be surprising to find them used in these types of situations.
And we were talking off air about the old Duke lacrosse situation that happened, I don't know how many years, I can't remember how many years ago, but it turned out that the story was made up. As I remember, wasn't that true?
Yes, it was. And
yeah, I mean, these guys' lives are ruined because of that.
Exactly. I mean, that was a very alarming situation where people from the university were condemning the team. The athlete's coach was forced to resign very quickly after this situation came out, and extremely disturbing when situations come out where there are false allegations. Now, when it comes to sexual assault allegations, you know, you're talking about less than 3% of occurrences turn out to be false because of the screening that goes involved to these cases. So it's not any more than with any other crime when it all comes out as far as these actual percentages.
Are there just a lot more athletes involved in this, Dr. Pappas, simply because it's a male-oriented culture, and you know you're kind of sort of in a cloistered environment where the guys can kind of keep it to themselves. They don't have to worry about it being leaked to a girlfriend or some woman. Is that why it's so much more prevalent in sports than, say, in other walks of life?
Well, you know, anytime you have a lot of power and prestige and you put on this pedestal, you're going to attract a following. I have a chapter in the book, The Dark Side of Sports, on female availability. not that these deviant acts wouldn't happen without this female availability, but it makes it happen that much easier. And then guys are into all of these one-upmanship types of things. Who can outdo each other? You know, when one-on-one sex becomes boring and drab, and guys are trying to push the envelope. Hey, what can we do that's more outrageous?
I mean, these guys are competitive anyway.
This brings up the phenomenon of group sex, where 95% of the guys I talked to knew about this stuff. A third participated, but alarmingly, from that third, over 70% of the guys were involved in the larger group sex situations. So we're talking about 4-on-1, 10-on-1, 15-on-1 type of situations. And what guys are calling trains, gangbangs, fivesomes, tensomes, you know, they're actually group sexual assaults, because if the female has any amount of alcohol in her, well, you've just crossed the line from a group sexual situation to a group sexual assault.
Yeah, but are we supposed to be so naive though that we can't believe that it doesn't happen in women's athletics? I mean, let's face it. Women are smarter than men. Women are more discreet than men. So I mean, it can go on the distaff side. We just don't know about it.
You know, I didn't do the research to answer that kind of a question, so I can't say. Now, I did coach the women's club team at Ohio State and have talked to various female athletes. You know, from the people I've talked to, the kinds of situations that are going on with the males and the levels of promiscuity, they're going through the roof. Whereas I didn't find that among the female athletes. Not to say that it isn't happening on certain teams, but just from the research I did pertaining to the athletes, I can only speak about what I found with regard to the male athletes.
I was going to say, it's interesting you bring that up, because years ago, this is probably in the early 80s, I used to date a woman who played volleyball at the college level. And she said that there were guys that would somehow get themselves ingratiated with women volleyball players who were like, whether they were groupies or hanging out at the games or, you know, going, through the sports information department. But she said it was interesting because the women were pretty sharp. They knew what these guys were all about. And they would see them, and she did that. I can't remember the word she used to describe them, but the gals on the team were smart enough to stay away from them. But she said it was really bizarre, and usually a couple of times a year, these guys would show up, just some young guy, a student, or maybe somebody who lived in the community, and try to get in good. And they could tell something bad was going on. So I'm wondering if you've ever run into any women athletes who have had that kind of experience.
No, I haven't. I remember the one female Olympic runner, and I can't think of her name offhand, where she got into prostitution, and obviously dealing with personal issues with that. But I didn't do the research pertaining to females, so I really can't speak too much about these kinds of situations. But it's very possible. After speaking with the one Division I golfer I did, when there were groupies that were males following her team, that's probably going to happen in other teams.
I know it sounds funny, just male groupies hanging out.
It is kind of strange. Dr. Pappas,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to have to cut you off here pretty soon. Before I want to remember to ask, how do people get a hold of your book?
Well, my website, www.drnickpappas.com, has links to Barnes & Noble, Amazon, so it's available on the website. There's also different resources that people can look at pertaining to this topic. And, the big message is for parents, hey, everything we're talking about that is rampant at the college and pro level begins at the high school level. So parents that have athletes, parents that have daughters, please educate yourself as to what's going on so that you can take the steps to make sure it's not happening in your home with your athlete.
Yeah, and Doc, the woman you were referring to was Susie Favor Hamilton, the most decorated NCAA track star in the history of the game, and she was an Olympic runner, successful, and then decided to become a Las Vegas call girl with her husband's blessing.
Oh, wow. Okay, Dr. Nicholas Pappas, thank you very much for joining us on the phone here.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Okay, we're going to really quickly cut to our second commercial break here. In the movie Major League, which Major League Baseball team was featured? This is an easy one. The first three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. In the movie Major League, which Major League Baseball team was featured? 888-660-4495. Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
Let's see, Tom Berenger was in that one.
Berenger, yeah.
Corbin Burns.
Martin Sheen was in that one. Dennis Haysbert.
Charlie Sheen.
I'm sorry. Dennis Haysbert was in that one. He played the guy who had the witch doctor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was in that one? Had a great cast.
Yeah, it did.
Wesley
Snipes.
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes. Love that.
Wesley Snipes was in 2 baseball movies, as was Charlie Sheen. He was in 8 Men Out also.
That's right.
Along with John Cusack,
Mm-hmm.
Gordon Jump, David Strathorn.
That was a good movie.
B.J. Sweeney.
Really captured the period.
Yeah, they had some really good character actors. Michael Rooker always played a bad guy. He played Chick Gandil. Yeah. It's funny, Chick Gandil walked away from that with 10 grand, invested his money very well, and ended up buying a farm out here in the West Coast and lived very prosperously for the rest of his life, thanks to cheating. All the other guys ended up getting screwed, except for the pitcher. What's his name? The one that David Strathorn played, Eddie Seacott.
Oh, yeah.
He ended up also with 10 grand.
That well, that was definitely a serious.
Yeah.
Serious.
How did you hook up with that guy?
One of these websites where you can look up for people.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Interesting stuff.
And
Yeah, that's a true story, though. That gal I went out with, she said, "Oh yeah, these guys, they hang out because we see them, and not very often, but because we see them, and we kind of band together."
Yeah. See, that's the way girls are going to be that way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's funny. You know how we talked about Deacon Jones coining the term sack?
Yeah.
So Mike Zaidlin, the guy next door here, he goes, nope, that's not what happened.
No.
Deacon Jones did not coin the term sack. George Allen did. So says Buffalo Bills legend Marv Levy.
But Deacon Jones just popularized it.
Exactly. Yeah. It said here that he heard what was it? It all had to do with Craig Morton. And what they said was,
that's right. Yeah.
He says we're going to take that Morton salt and pour him into a sack. And so apparently that's how that
Poor
goes.
Craig Morton. He's so beat up after all the years of abuse.
And I can't get a hold of him.
You need his number? I got his number.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
add him.
He lives over in Mill
Mill
Valley.
Valley,
You should
yeah.
get him to come right here.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, if you can.
He's great. He'll have some great stories to tell you. I mean, between his time at Dallas and Denver and Cal, I mean, God,
sure.
He played with all the greats.
And now he's going, for
Craig
part of
Morton?
that lawsuit.
What's that?
Craig Morton?
Craig Morton, yeah, he played with everybody. I mean, he played during that golden era of pro football, the 70s and
He was
60s.
good.
Yeah, he was very good. He wasn't like, he got his team into 2 Super Bowls, 2 separate teams. He didn't win it, but to get the team in the Super Bowl, that's just.
But he was with the
He
Cowboys.
was with the Cowboys when they won. He wasn't the quarterback.
Yeah.
He was the backup then. Yeah, he and Staubach took the job away from him. Yeah.
Oh, and next week. Next week we've got John Vella.
Oh, great. Is he coming in here?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Don't know. If he may call.
He's a good storyteller.
Yeah.
He's fun.
Yeah, he is fun. Okay. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you
ever want to do Freddie Biletnikoff? Let me know if Freddie loves to do this.
Please.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah.
You call me or give me his number, whatever you want.
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun to have.
Vida Blue's another guy I can get you.
Okay.
Vida's great.
Yeah, because I got to line people up for the.
Oh,
the
yeah.
major. Yeah.
Vida'd be good for around spring training.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn.
Yo.
You okay now? Coughing a little bit there, but you poor guys.
I'm battling
He's
it, man.
battaling. Okay.
He's been on the road.
Got to tape up and play hard.
Yeah, you've been on the road with the Raiders and the Niners and all those cold weather sites, climbing into airplanes. God, it's like being on a giant petri dish.
But to jump on another plane again.
That's where you get sick.
I
going
got
to Carolina.
I got 49ers, Panthers, and I'll be flying out to Charlotte, North
Is
Carolina.
there a song that James Taylor used to sing, "Going to Carolina"?
In my mind, I'm going to Carolina.
That's right.
Sweet Carolina.
That's
Neil Diamond.
Neil
Okay,
Diamond,
never mind.
yeah. That's the Boston Red Sox theme song. They used
Oh,
to
that's
play-
right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
And I forgot, we're also in the studio here with our other co-host, Bruce McGowan.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So here's the trivia question here. Again, the theme is baseball teams in the movies. This week in baseball. Remember that?
Oh, Mel
Love
Allen.
that show. Okay. That was before ESPN. Okay. In the movie Major League, which Major League Baseball team was featured? This is an easy
That's
one.
an easy
Brucey?
It's the Cleveland
The
Indians.
Cleveland Indians.
And who was the announcer for the Cleveland Indians?
Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker,
Yeah, who just a bit outside.
That's
and who was
right.
the manager for that team?
You know, it's fine. I don't remember his name.
Tom Berenger, the actor.
No. He
Wasn't
wasn't
it?
the
Oh,
manager. He was the
star.
catcher.
That's right, he was
Yeah.
the catcher.
It's
Wesley
the guy with-
Snipes was also in that.
Yeah, he
Charlie
Willie Mays
Sheen.
Hayes, Charlie Sheen.
No, the guy
Charlie
who
Sheen was wild.
deep voice, like he had
Yeah.
a mustache. You know.
Charles Sheen was Wild Thing. The
Wild Thing. That's
picture,
right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so boy, that was very serious. We usually have all kinds of fun levity here on the show, but that topic was very serious.
Very dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very dark with the
Yeah.
sports there.
A buzzkill.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back into having fun.
Yeah.
First of all, my brother pointed this out to me. You know, the 49ers, if you look at all the they had 4 losses this year.
Yep.
They were all to teams that are in the playoffs
That's right.
now.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Oh, they didn't.
New Orleans, Carolina, Green. Who are the other
Seahawks.
two?
Saints.
Seahawks and Saints.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And 2 of those games they could have easily won.
And by the way, Tim Tebow finally landed his job, and he predicted Florida State Seminoles would beat Auburn 35-31.
Wow.
He wasn't even close.
34.
Florida won 34-30.
Yeah.
He was off a full
That was
point.
that was a great game.
That was good.
That was. I mean, I didn't
I
really
enjoyed it.
pay that much attention to it at first. I was watching. I was going, man, this is something else.
I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
First team to come from 18 points down to
Wow.
win the BCS, the final
That's a great
BCS as we go to a playoff system next year.
Oh, very
Yeah,
good,
that's
very
right.
good. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel may declare his. I guess he did declare his eligibility for 2014. Do you think he's ready?
I'd love to see the Raiders get him. The Raiders need a quarterback. Bring him in.
He's NFL ready.
Yeah.
He can make all the throws.
Boy, wouldn't he be fun in Oakland? I mean,
He
of
can run
course,
any
He'd
offense.
probably get run out of. He'd probably get knocked down a few times. But
Is it me, or does he seem kind of small? I mean, I know he's about 6 feet,
6 feet 6'1".
$150.
But he's such a great athlete.
No, he is.
I mean, he may turn out to be a bust. Who knows? Some of these guys don't make it in the pros.
And I always wonder about that. The risks of staying in college.
Yeah.
You can get hurt, and it could be over.
Yeah.
In theory, I guess you could always kind of do. Didn't Steve Young go back to being to get his law degree?
He
He
did.
did.
Yeah.
A lot of guys go back later on. Why not? I mean, you can go back and get your degree. You got your money. You got your time now. Why not? I mean, if I was playing pro football or college football, I was a top player, I'd have to think very long and hard about holding on to my eligibility and playing another year. Because as you mentioned, you get injured, your career is shot.
Yeah.
Of course, you go to Stanford, you get a Stanford degree, and you don't need a career in football.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, if he comes out a little too early and he just kind of backup quarterback, and he never really kind of gets to the point where people see him as a mature. I mean, there's a lot of risks on that.
That's good.
But it's probably good that he does. I saw this a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if you guys saw this. A high school basketball student section stormed the court with 1 second to go, and it cost the team the victory because they were given a technical foul. The other team was allowed 2 free throws, and they made it, and they won by 1 point. And
Somebody better tell them to tell time.
Yeah.
You know what, though?
Stormy went at zeros.
Yeah.
True, but okay, should the home team get penalized in that situation? And what if they were actually plants, right? Let's say they
Could've
weren't a home
been.
team. They could have been
Could have been.
the away
That's a
team.
good
They
question.
stormed it anyway.
It's a good
I mean,
possibility.
that's not,
Yeah.
I just don't think that's fair to.
Could have been
to do that.
plants. That's right.
You never know about that.
Jeez. Yeah.
What's the other? They do that. I guess what.
Fix.
Yeah. Well, in pro football, if it's too loud or something, they'll do certain things to penalize the home team.
Well, the fans can make as much noise
No,
as
that's-
they want. They can't do
Not
anything.
because it's too loud.
No,
Yeah.
no, but there was something
Fans
else.
throwing
of
stuff?
on the
Yeah.
I can't throw batteries and stuff like that on the field. Yeah.
I remember the 49er fans back at Kezar when I was going to games back in the 60s. They would throw whiskey bottles out of the field. And one time they hit Armand Terzi on a official and they had knocked him out. Literally knocked him out. He was out cold.
Yeah, that's
Whiskey
kinda
bottle
neat.
in the head. Yeah. Those fans at Kezar were nasty.
That'll hoit.
Of course, there were a lot of bars right around in the neighborhood there, so they got well fortified before the game.
Yeah, really sneak them in.
Yeah.
Okay, the Yankees just paid $28 million in luxury tax.
Good.
Okay,
They
get this.
should.
But don't they pay every year?
But
They
yes,
should.
okay, now get this. Since the tax started 11 years ago, they have paid $253 million of the total $285 million.
Wow.
They paid 89% of all the fines out there.
Who's paid the rest of it? The 11%?
It's just been spread out.
Dodgers.
Red Sox go over, the Dodgers go
I
over.
bet you the Giants have had to pay a few.
But do you think the A's?
No.
Oh,
they
heck
probably get a
no.
refund. They never spend money on it.
No.
So now, who said the Yankees are just trying to buy a pennant, huh?
Yeah, come on now.
That's
They're
kinda
getting the
wild.
best talent available.
Okay, so now moving on here. No tailgating allowed at this year's Super Bowl.
What?
No.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Nope.
Why?
Can't even get near there. I mean,
Why?
can't.
That's right. That's right. You can't even get near there.
Why can't you have tailgating in the parking lot?
Which I'm surprised. With the snow potential, they may not want to do it anyway.
Yeah,
but still,
why? What's the big deal?
well,
Well, there's a lot of NFL security, especially since 9/11.
What are they worried about terrorists that are going to become?
No, I don't think it's terrorists. I think it's just the typical drunk people.
NFL is so they are so
Mamby-pamby about
yeah,
that.
I just they got the tight sphincter.
Well, it's
collectively.
I love this part. It says here, the committee CEO says you'll be allowed to have food in your car and have drink in your car.
But you can't step outside your car and drink.
Very close. Okay,
Yeah.
it says, and provided you're in the boundaries of a single parking space, you'll be able to eat or drink next to your car. However, you're not going to be able to take out a lounge chair. You're not going to be able to take out a grill.
Well, I see what they do. They don't want other people having their parking stalls taken away. That's what they're doing. That makes sense.
I mean, if that was the only reason, but I don't know.
That would make sense.
I think it goes beyond
Because
that.
if you ever go to a game of Candlestick, it's impossible to find it. I go there and they give the media parking, but you park with the hoi polloi, and you pull in, and there's no place to park, and you ask somebody, please move over. Hey, we're having our lunch here. We're having our tailgate park. Yeah, but I got to cover this game. That's your trouble, buddy.
Yeah.
That's your problem.
Well, it says
Too
here,
bad.
well, they're not even. Get this. Fans will not even be allowed to park and walk to the East Rutherford, New Jersey
Jeez.
Stadium, nor will they be able to arrive by taxi or limo.
No, you got to. They want you to shuttle in.
That's it. The
There
only
we are.
vehicles with parking passes will be allowed near the premises, but it says the only two other options for fans is to have a charter bus called the Fan Express, which is going to cost $51.
What?
Yep, and pick up and drop off passengers at 9 locations around the
Jeez.
region.
Hey, I got to ask
When
Vernon
we
a
covered
question.
the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
you couldn't park within 6 blocks of the Superdome.
Yeah, that's true.
We ended up having to take a cab from the hotel, and the cab would take us up to a certain point, and then he was like, well, that's it, man. I can't even get any closer. They got the sawhorses, they got the streets blocked. It's a nightmare. It's only and for the media, there's only one way to go in, one entrance, and that's
Yeah,
it.
That's it. Hey, I got to ask you, Vernon, because you travel around a lot and go to different venues, and I would think you probably would walk through the parking lots sometimes on your way to the game.
I do.
Do you ever talk to the fans, and if so, who has the best tailgating fans in the league that you've run into?
Wow, tough to beat the Giants.
Really?
Speaking of the Meadowlands, now, yeah, in a regular season game, you can tailgate, but I saw the Giants. I mean, these guys, Bruce, these guys are pros. I mean, they drive up there. They got it all planned out. They've got they got the propane out. They're just
The barbecue.
they just do it well. But I've seen 49er fans that have it down to
Yeah.
a science as well over at Candlestick. So I guess it just kind of depends. I mean, if you've been a season ticket for 20 years and you're used to going up and tailgating, you know what you're doing.
I always get invited into these little parking lot things at Oakland. The fans there are great, and they're always saying, "Try this, try that." They're handing me food.
Oh yeah.
I end up having a beer and my full meal before I even walk in there.
There you
half the time.
go.
Yeah.
Well, now, how many guys are doing tailgating who don't actually have tickets? Because it's just kind of a
That's
fun
a good
atmosphere.
question. I bet you there's a few.
There are that just kind of
Yeah.
cook out and hang out. They've
Watch the game on TV.
Yeah,
They've
they
got
probably
the-
have it rather than go to a bar.
yeah,
they probably bring a
they
bar.
got the TVs out. They're watching it on TV. They got the radios out. They're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Maybe they're afraid of the Super Bowl. They're not going to be able to.
But to
sell
pay
tickets.
$30 to do that though, oh.
Yeah, well, I guess everybody wants to get close to the action.
Yeah, and you can probably hear it right
Yeah.
from the stadium.
And I'm always amazed at for baseball games, people that are just milling around outside of the stadium while the game is going on.
That is crazy.
Well, I love going to. I haven't been to spring training in a long time, but I love going to Scottsdale for.
People
spring
plan
training.
entire vacations
Yeah.
around
Spring
spring
training.
training. It is a great venue and opportunity to really get up and meet the players, actually have a conversation with these players. They're right there.
Even Barry Bonds used to talk to fans. I remember Barry would come over and actually engage in very friendly,
Very informal.
very informal
Well,
conversations.
one time we went out to dinner and to something in Charlie's. What's the famous?
Oh, Don and Charlie.
Don and Charlie, still there, still going
Is
strong.
the Pink Pony still around?
Yes,
Pink Pony's
the
still
Pony's
there.
Still there. So we're down at Charlie's and we look across and we see the JT Snow.
Oh, yeah.
This is when
Great guy.
years ago when he was playing
Yeah.
with the Giants, right? And I look and I go, you know what? That's his dad.
Yeah, Jack Snow.
Jack Snow.
The
Yeah.
former
Number
provider.
84.
Never
Fighters
forget
Los
that.
Angeles
Yeah,
Rams.
he used to kill the Niners
Yeah,
all
he
the time,
did.
right? So I remember I had my son with me, and Christian was a little bit little. I said, you know what, it'd be kind of fun. I said, you know what, instead of just going up to J2, he probably has a lot of people doing this. I said, go up and ask him for his dad's autograph, right? So, and I said, don't go up to him, but go up to his wife, right? That's the best way to do it. You go up
Yeah,
to the wife.
sure.
Because otherwise, guys are always ignoring the wives going after
Yeah.
the players, right?
Look at Edwards.
Yeah,
Smooth.
I'm
Look
smooth.
at that.
That's right. I get the opportunity here,
Yeah,
right?
there you
So
go.
actually, I bring Christian up, and I said, he wants to, he'd like to get JT's autograph, but I said I was explaining to him about his dad, and JT looks over at us and he goes, my dad would love that. Because now he's just, well, this was back then when he was alive, he was known as JT's dad.
Yeah.
And it's like, gosh, this guy had a great career.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
Was he a Hall of Famer?
No, but he was an All-Pro a couple of times.
Yeah.
He was a great player. Yeah.
And that father-son relationship was strained for many years.
it
Bruce.
was.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah.
They got together towards the end, but it was kind of like Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonds. They had, Dusty was the guy.
It was kind of the.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
It
didn't
was
realize
it was kind of like Marinovich, almost like.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very overbearing dad
Yeah.
who was just on JT.
I can imagine.
He
Just
wanted
on
to
him,
play.
on
Did
him,
he
on.
want JT to play football?
Oh,
JT
yeah.
was.
JT was a really good quarterback in high school,
Yeah.
and
Well,
but he played baseball too. He was great. He was a terrific pitcher in baseball. And
But don't Cecil Fielder and Prince? They have a strained relationship.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's got nothing to do with.
I think it's his relationship with
It's-
his mom, isn't it? He's had. Didn't Cecil leave the mom when Prince was a kid, and that created some stress? I think
No,
that's what happened.
Cecil didn't approve of who Prince married.
That was it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That was it.
See,
Oh, boy.
women will do that. Too,
Let's just say it wasn't the complexion to make the connection.
Yeah,
It's
That was the problem.
Okay. It's usually the mom though that's the most critical, and the dad's always like, "Oh, I like the girl."
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Because my dad fell in love with my wife. He said, "Oh God, you better marry this woman,"
Yeah, if you don't, I will. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, we're going to cut to our third commercial break here, and again, the theme is baseball teams in the movies. In the movie Rookie of the Year, which I wasn't going to bring up like the Naturals, the Knights. I wanted the real baseball teams, and I was going to, Pride of
Rookie of the
Yankees.
Year.
Okay, so there's a movie called Rookie of the Year. Now this one's
How long ago did this come out?
this is again probably about 15, 20 years
Late
ago.
90s.
Yeah, and it's kind of a kids movie. This one's a little bit more of a silly kids movie. But in the movie Rookie of the Year, which Major League Baseball team was featured? And this is the one where the kid breaks his arm and he ends up becoming a pitcher, a major league pitcher at age 14. So it's kind of it's a cute kids movie. First three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Call 888-660-4495 to answer this question. In the movie Rookie of the Year, which Major League Baseball team was featured? Don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back with some closing comments.
I have no idea.
I think it was the Chicago Cubs.
Yes!
Very
You're the
good.
man!
Chicago
Very
Cubs.
good.
Rookie of the Year. I never saw that movie.
Rookie of the Year.
That one, again, it's...
Who was in it?
I'm not sure if they have it.
No one that
No
you
one.
would
Yeah.
just
Kind of
immediately go, well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a sort of an obscure cast of characters.
Yeah.
By the way, have you guys seen American Hustle yet?
No, I haven't.
Good film.
I-
Did you
really?
get?
I've
Did you
seen.
get it in the mail? For some reason, because I'm an AFTRA, I get all of these videos.
Yeah,
of
I got Dallas Buyers Club in the
Yeah,
mail.
I got that one.
I got
Did you get 12 Years a Slave?
12 Years a Slave in the mail,
Yeah.
and then I got
Oh, we get because we're in the American Federation of Radio and Television Artists.
Actor and SAG merged, and so now
They give us all these the top movies.
we get these
Oh,
movies. These
nice.
first run movies. God, what did we just watch? We watched Captain Phillips the other
Oh,
night.
great film. Yeah.
Was that good?
Yeah,
Was that good?
terrific.
Okay.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
12 Years a Slave is very, very depressing.
And
at the end of it, you
the name
hate-
of it.
You absolutely hate all the white people in the movie except for one guy, Brad Pitt, who's a nice guy.
Oh.
Well, and there's
He's always
one,
got to be a good guy.
there's one plantation on him. He's okay. He's not like a horrible person. But this one guy is like, it's almost like he's a psychopath. And he gets into this fight once with the main character, and the guy's trying to defend himself, and the guy's flying at him with a knife, and he finally flips the plantation owner into some hog poop. And the guy gets up, he's like laughing. He's going, "Oh, that was a pretty good one you did there, buddy." This guy is nuts. Can you imagine? You have to deal with a bad guy to begin with. Now this guy's laughing.
I've seen I've seen almost all of Anchorman 2.
Oh, is that pretty funny?
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I've seen the first
Ron Burgundy, the legend continues.
I've seen the first 40 minutes of Wolf of Wall Street.
That was good.
Oh, I heard that was
You know
very
what?
good.
Okay. I'll tell you, because I wasn't in the penny stock business, but I had clients who were, I mean, I was right in the trenches with that stuff. That movie was very accurate.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So that character is a compilation of different people that.
But
no,
how
he's
does that
one guy.
how did that work? He's on the phone,
Yeah.
and he's selling a guy who wants to get rich fast. Penny stock. The guy said, "I'll give you $4,000," and he makes 50%.
Yeah, because what he's doing is he's selling the guy, instead of being a dollar a share, he's selling it to him for $1.50, let's say, and so Wolf is pocketing the other 50 cents. So the guy doesn't
Not
know
telling
that
the
he
guy
really
this,
should
of
be
course,
only
yeah.
paying like $1 plus maybe a
So he's
small
basically
commission.
why would you screw over your clients?
Because he
though?
Greed.
makes a lot of money. Greed.
I know, but I mean, doesn't he get found out eventually?
Oh, he does.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's why all these penny stocks,
Yeah.
they have these huge margins. Commodities same
Yeah.
way. When I remember talking to this one lady, their commission was 33%.
Jesus.
I said, wait a minute. I said, I've got to make 50% of my money just to break even.
Yeah.
I go, that's not good.
No.
You're going in.
But how do people get so? How do they become so naive that they don't figure out what this guy's up to?
Because the thing is, when you hear, hey Bruce, how would you like to buy this stock? Is only at 80 cents.
And these guys are good.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
they're
right.
convincing. I mean, they're like,
Listen, it's 80 cents. They're about to get this big contract, such and such. Oh, it's going to go to $2. Oh my God, 80 cents to $2. I mean, $2 is nothing for a.
But how are they so naive to think that's actually going to happen? They really believe these guys?
It's like the lottery.
Yeah.
People, somebody does win the lottery, but how many people don't?
My wife, it's a great thing about my wife.
People do make some money.
My wife would never. I'm much more gullible. She would never be convinced about anything. You could
Good
hand
for her.
her a free vacation with no strings attached. She said, "I'm not going to take it."
Well, because she's looking and going, there is
Yeah.
no free lunch.
No,
so
she's convinced. Yeah, you can't get something for nothing.
No, she's that way.
that's like when I explain about like the deeds of trust. I mean, like, let me give you an example of one I'm trying to get. It's this house in Beverly Hills. It's 90210. Does that sound familiar?
Mhm.
There's a first deed of trust of $200,000. All this guy needs is another $200,000. So it's a second deed of trust. So a second, not as safe as the first, right? The house is worth $1.3 million. This is a really safe loan because even if it blows up, so to speak, I'm not the house blowing up, but even if things go wrong, the guy can't pay the payments, you could clean up.
Yeah.
Right? So by the time I answered it, I'm not doing it on behalf of myself because I work with Mark, with doing the deeds of trust, is as soon as I got the email, I looked it over, I go, this looks good, and I emailed that guy back, and it took him 2 hours to get back to me, and he said, you know what, if someone else wants it, but if they don't want it, I'll get back in touch with you. So, but is it risk free, and the interest rate is 12.5%. So, it's a calculated risk. Is it risk free? No. I mean, the guy bought it at $650,000. He put $250,000 into it. He's a contractor. His financial statement himself is kind of like this, where that's the reason why he can't get a bank loan. Okay, that's the reason he can't get a bank. But the guy needs the money because he's doing some other stuff with it. So, when an outsider looking at it, now if your wife heard, hey, how would you like to earn 12.5% of your money, pretty safe? She'd go, I'm not interested because it sounds too risky. So when you explain it, you go, now it's a calculated risk. Is it risk free? No. The whole, earthquake could take everything down.
You have to look at the outside of it, yeah.
Yeah, you have to look at, how, like, what are the odds that it's going to happen? I mean, at some point you can go ridiculous. Like,
Being in the stock market really is, in some respects, a more sophisticated way of getting out into gambling.
it is. It's legalized gambling.
Yeah.
It is. And you can make a lot of money in the market. I mean, now can get really ridiculous, but like there's let's say some FDIC fairly new bank comes up, or even let's say Wells Fargo. You've heard of Wells Fargo, right? FDIC insured, right? How do you know they're FDIC insured? Because the emblem.
Yeah.
Anybody can just buy an emblem and put it in. Now, I mean, at some point you got to go, okay, that's a calculated risk. The odds are they're such a big bank, they probably really did pay their FDIC insurance premium. But I don't know. You know what I mean? So everything you kind of weigh it. But those penny stocks do get.
Interesting.
I mean, that is really risky.
When Cron had to file BK, the Young Broadcasting stock had which was $40 a share at the time of the purchase of Cron in 2000. It had gone down to a penny stock.
Wow.
Well, if they go BK, usually that's
What is
happens.
what is BK?
Bankruptcy.
Bankrupt. Okay.
And so Cron now is owned by a couple of hedge fund guys now.
Yeah.
They came in and absorbed all the
Young guys.
debt.
They come
Well, they're in Connecticut somewhere.
See, they probably, what they did is they negotiated the debt, because they're not going to just take it with all this debt. So what they do is it's called cram down. Go to the bankruptcy court judge, and they say, listen, we're willing to buy it, but you got to lessen the debt.
So when
Unless
these-
you're secured debt. See, that's why it's so important to be a first mortgage or a second, something where you actually have real security. Credit cards, that's not secured.
So the guys that these two hedge fund guys, do they have a name, a title for their company that
There
owns?
is yeah, it is a company.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the name of the company.
But I mean, on your check it would say, something broadcasting.
On the check it says Young
Oh,
Broadcasting.
they brought the name too. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
What was the other movie? Oh, Grudge Match. I
Grudge
saw
match.
that with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Good.
It was enjoyable because they did a little bit of Rocky and a little bit of Raging Bull.
Was Robert De Niro on that?
Yeah, Robert De Niro was in it.
Yeah, he's the other old fart.
Yeah,
Right, that's great.
it was actually. I enjoyed it. The guy.
But the Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, it really sucks. It's really, and I haven't seen enough of it, but the Australian blonde actress who ends up
his wife.
Apparently the sex scene is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's the thing.
When
Is
they first
they
hooked up.
have some frontal nudity in there.
Yeah.
It's quite the man's movie from that end of it.
But she said in an interview, if you knew what happened in making that scene, I mean, she said it was the most unattractive, because it was apparently it was hot in the room. I guess there's a dog that's involved in the scene, and
Bestiality, huh?
and they put the dog was like nipping at his feet or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, they
While they were having sex.
They got dog food, and they crammed it right around DiCaprio's feet to get the dog to. And so she said not only is the room hot, the room smells like dog food.
And the dog is nipping at her
Yeah,
feet.
you got cameras everywhere. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I understand they put on these what are called body gloves when they do this nude scene, so that they're in case there's any.
Well, she wasn't wearing a body glove apparently. She was, yeah.
Because I wonder if the male actors ever get like a little excited. Of course, if you've got camera people around, it's kind of hard to get excited. But still.
I asked an actress that. I said, wow. I mean, it's something like that. But yeah, and the director says, cut. Is there any temptation to just go back to the trailer and finish the job? And she said, well, you would think that, but those sex scenes, it's like learning a dance. It's like we do this and then we roll over and do this, and it's completely choreographed.
Yeah, I bet it is. It probably takes hours to do
Yeah,
it.
because
too.
the guy.
She said Hollywood hookups. I mean, they happen.
Yeah.
But nobody's nobody's gonna put the robe and they go quickly to the trailer and
Unless it's a porn,
the trailer's moving.
Yeah. Debbie does Dallas.
Yeah, the whole porn thing, you have to have the cum scene where the guy comes. Hey, what happened? There's no cum shot. Remember that scene in what was the
Call the fluffer.
There was a
Get him ready again.
Yeah, there was a movie. I can't remember what movie. It was about 20 years ago.
We are recording.
With Melanie Griffith, and Craig Wasson played the guy, and he was watching. He was like a watcher, and then he has a sex scene in this movie.
Where? Okay.
Yeah, and he didn't come in the scene. I guess he came inside her, and the guy, hey, where's the cum shot? Hey, come on, we're not doing Last Tango here. This is the real, Where's the cum shot?
Gotta be a money shot.
Gotta be a money shot. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right. 2 minutes to go. Anything next week, man? I got a couple of hard trivia questions. That seems easy, but they're not.
Now this show airs this Saturday. Okay. So we should
mention the football.
We should talk about the NFL playoffs.
Do quick picks.
This weekend.
This will be 1 o'clock, so the Niner game will have already been over.
The Niner game is on Sunday.
No, the Niner game is on Sunday at 1:30.
At 10 a.m.
Wait a minute.
Now there's 2 Saturday games.
Yes.
So one's at 1:30.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're at nighttime.
Who's playing Sunday besides the Niners?
It's
the AFC games. Denver and
isn't it Chargers Broncos?
Chargers Broncos. Yeah, that's the afternoon.
The Saturday it's Saturday it's Colts Patriots.
Colts, Patriots.
And
And
I
the
don't know
other
why
one-
Mike McCoy hasn't called me back yet.
The other one is Seahawks.
Seahawks and Saints.
And
Pete
Saints.
Carroll hasn't called me back
He
yet.
hasn't called you back?
No, he hasn't called me back
Yeah,
yet.
tell him you're a good friend of Bob Troutman and he'll call you back. Bob Troutman's his old coach. So I'm like, I know Bob Troutman. And he can't check you out and say, oh, he did. Because
Well, it's
Bob
tough
Troutman's
now.
dead.
It's-
He can't verify it.
Today would have been the day to do it because tomorrow they put the game plan in.
That's true, yeah. Thursday's not a good day. Or
That's
Wednesday.
okay. We'll have to catch him next week.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Let's do this. So, there you go.
Okay.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn
Hi.
and Bruce McGowan.
Yeah.
Let's see, when we got to the third commercial break, we asked this trivia question. The theme is baseball teams in the movies. In the movie Rookie of the Year, which Major League Baseball team was featured. Vern, you knew this one.
The Chicago Cubs.
That is correct. Did you see the movie?
The Cubbies. Yes, I did.
You did. Okay. That was kind of
Cute little kids movie, yeah.
Kids movie. Okay. Football.
NFL playoffs, man.
Playoffs.
It's
Go ahead,
the
take it away.
divisional round, so we're down from 12 teams to 8.
Who you picking?
So we got a couple of Saturday games today. We got Colts Patriots, and we have Saints and Seahawks. Wow, can the Saints actually they've got their first ever road playoff win.
That's right.
Is it too much to ask for them to
Yeah.
go to Seattle and
Yeah.
It is
Seattle's going to win.
Seattle's gonna
Seattle's
win.
going to win.
And the Colts will lose at New England also.
The Niners will beat.
Will beat Carolina.
They will beat Carolina.
that's a Sunday game?
Yeah.
And then the Broncos will take care of San Diego. So
Yeah,
it'll be
I
the
know.
Bron-
You know, the Cinderella team of San Diego, I think it's overall.
And my pick is Seattle against Denver with Seattle winning it all. For
Really?
the Super Bowl. That's my pick. I'm really moving ahead here.
Wait a minute. So now, who's Seattle going to play?
They're going to play the Niners and they'll beat the Niners.
Okay.
I wish they would.
Oh wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. Seattle. Oh, I'm sorry. Seattle will beat Denver. You said
Seattle will beat Denver.
Denver in the Super Bowl. Okay.
Denver
there we
will
go.
beat the New England.
Okay, that's
Brucey's
our
pick.
predictions.
That's
All
my
right.
pick. What do you think, Vernon?
I gotta think. I gotta think the Niners can't beat Carolina. They got to avenge that 10-9 loss on November 10th.
Absolutely.
But boy, going to Seattle and beating that team, they were flat out embarrassed the first time. But
Put on a better show.
they got to have a puncher's chance, huh?
Yeah,
Okay,
they have
so-
a chance.
All right. So there's our predictions for the
Who are you
playoffs.
picking?
Okay. I've got along those lines. Okay. Thoughts for the day. With the money I'm making, I should be playing 2 positions. Who said that?
Me.
Pete Rose. You. And
Pete Rose, huh?
deep thinker Jack Handley said, "To me, boxing is like ballet, except there's no music, no choreography, and the dancers hit each other." I like that one. Okay, tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. You'll see if we were correct with our predictions. We're also going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective and giving away more free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye, America.
So long.
Should have said we're going to discuss sports topics with a sexual deviancy.